The Choir Guys podcast wouldn't be possible without our amazing sponsors. To see the full list and learn more about them, visit thechoirguyspod.weebly.com/r-sponsors. Now here's a word from this week's featured sponsors. Have you ever stayed at a boutique hotel? You know, one of those places where everything is curated to be ultra special? Well, that's exactly the approach they take at Walton Music. Think of Walton as your boutique choral publisher. The Walton catalog features exceptional works from around the world, each carefully chosen for its musical excellence and supported with helpful tools for performers. With Walton Music, you're not just selecting music, you're choosing a curated quality experience with all of the details to help you and your choir succeed. Encore Tours helps choirs perform around the world with guaranteed audiences, stunning venues, and expert support. Start planning today at EncoreTours.com. If you want inspiring, ethically published choral music, check out Endeavor Music Publishing. Their composers earn 5 times more than the norm. Support these composers at EndeavorMusicPublishing.com. One teacher said it best, this program has been life-changing. S Cubed helped her small choir thrive, even with a mix of abilities and zero prior experience. If you want to build confidence, consistency, and community in your classroom, S Cubed is the way. Successful sight singing starts here. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Choir Guys podcast. My name is Blake Richter.
And I'm Danny Gutierrez.
We have an exciting episode in store for you today. We have the opportunity to speak with one of the most loving and sincere individuals in the choral world today.
Today's guest is a teacher, conductor, singer, researcher, and proud native of Kansas City, Missouri.
Whoop.
He is passionate about music making and its ability to have a positive impact on the human condition. As a result of his experience as a leader and educator, he is in demand as a choral adjudicator, clinician, presenter, and conductor throughout the United States.
The entire country. This amazing human conducts the Temple University Chorale, supervises graduate students, and teaches courses in music education, choral and vocal pedagogy, and choral methods. I have also heard a rumor that he gives extra credit to his students if they listen to our podcast.
That's cool.
Which I kind of dig. His research focuses on issues of diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice in choral music. Slightly important in today's world. Before his work at Temple, he served as artistic director and conductor of the Heartland Men's Chorus, taught high school choral music in Kansas City, and he served as the associate director of worship arts at the United Methodist Church of the Resurrection.
He recently passed on his position as the National ACDA Repertoire and Resources Chair for tenor-bass choral ensembles to our previous guest, Dr. Nathan Dame. So we're just getting him in a row. And he is currently the past president of the Kansas Choral Directors Association.
No way.
Please welcome Dr. Dustin Cates.
What is up?
What's up, chat?
What did you say, chat? Oh my gosh. I thought you said Jeanette, and I was like, that's my great aunt. But
Wait,
then
what did you say?
Chat.
Chad?
Wow.
Chad?
Not Chad.
Oh, I thought you called you Chad.
Chat.
Chat. That works too.
Chat.
I have an 8th grader. He teaches me all this stuff.
That's
I know
important.
Oh, that's a thing?
Yeah.
You say, hey, what's up, Chad?
What's up, chat?
What does that mean? They're chatty?
That just means
Blake
like
is definitely
gang.
chatty. He's the chattiest of the chatties.
Well,
Like referring to the chat in your live stream, I think.
yeah.
Isn't it?
Oh,
It
what's
could be
up?
something like that.
Like what's up, chat? Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
No cap. No
So
cap
wait, is
at
this
all.
something you would say to like who do you say this to? Like, what's up, chat? Like, is that something you say one-on-one with someone though?
No, I mean, I don't know if I'm using it appropriately. I just, whatever I hear him say, I just use it, particularly in rehearsal.
In rehearsal?
I mean, I felt like you all would do that too.
I'm definitely about it. I just want to make sure I don't mess it up. Like, I want to understand the
Also,
nuance of it.
I call people twin. Like, what's up, twin? They say that too.
That's
Okay.
cool. That's like you're like me. Like we're like each other. Like, what's up, twin?
So twin. So hey, today's giving flashbacks to the first time I actually met you. I met you through Zoom because I was like the tech person for the Missouri Choral Directors Association. You were giving a presentation. I think it was like around COVID times or like a little bit earlier than COVID times, and you just couldn't make it to the conference. So it's like I'm having deja vu of the first time I met you, which
You're
is
rhyming too.
that was totally the goal. So thanks for always,
I know you don't live in Missouri anymore, but thank you for always coming back to Missouri. And you came back again this summer to our summer conference in Springfield, and you were the clinician for the 11-12 honor choir, which was fantastic.
Which is amazing. It's one of the best, as far as the summer festival goes, one of the best ones I've heard in the state, which is awesome.
You heard it straight from the source.
Boom. It's the truth.
Boom. Nailed it.
I loved coming back. It was fun.
I know you were my favorite part of the whole conference. No offense to literally everybody else that was at the conference.
Wow.
There's a lot of great people there.
I know there's a lot of great people there, but like I got to sit and chat with you for like, I don't know, it was like 45 minutes to an hour or so in the past president's suite, in the Crinky suite. Yeah. It was a good time. So thanks for being the best. Let's get this discussion started, Danny.
All right. So can you tell us a bit about how this Kansas City boy ended up where he is today?
Sure. Let's see. I grew up in South Kansas City, South Side in South Kansas City.
Yeah.
And it's sort of a urban suburban neighborhood. And my parents were a little chaotic. And so I, in middle school and high school, was a choir kid. And particularly in high school, I became very close with my high school choral director, and she sort of inspired me. I wanted to be her. And I saw the change that she made in the impact that she made on the students' lives. And so I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And then I was looking, like, where am I going to go to school? And I was looking at all kinds of places. Missouri State, I was looking at Missouri State. I was looking at Wichita State, and I went to a choral festival at UMKC, which was like, 15 minutes from my house. And I got to work with Eve Ely, and I was like, oh God, I got to go here. I have to go here. So I ended up going to UMKC, got my undergrad there. Also got to work with Charles Robinson, who's like one of my favorite people on the face of the earth. And I taught high school choir for about 12 years. Started in Missouri and then moved over to the Kansas side. And then I got invited to guest conduct the Heartland Men's Chorus. And I guest conducted for a concert, and they said, you should apply for this job. And I was like, I'll give it a try. And I did, and did that for 5 years and finished my PhD while I did that. And then my husband, who is a doctor, said, if we're going to move, let's go. And I was like, are you serious? Like the fake doctor gets to decide where we move? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. If we're not going to move now, we're probably never going to move. And so got offered a couple of gigs, and he got offered a great job in Philadelphia. And so I wasn't intending on applying for this job in Philadelphia, but Rollo said, you should apply for this job. And so I was like, you don't say no to Rollo Dilworth. And so I did, and here I am.
Boom.
Wow. And what is your husband a doctor of?
He's a pediatrician by trade, I guess.
So medical doctor.
But he recently took a new position. He's the director of student health, the medical director of student health at Penn. So he handles all the college students now. So everyone from like a traditional college student age person to a graduate student who's 46. But he's got to Google what he does with those patients because he's not normally treating adults.
Wow. Okay.
No longer can he say to me, I don't take care of adults. I can't write you a prescription because I don't take care of adults, because that's a lie now. So
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad you said that you and I are both fake doctors, because sometimes my students are like, hey, Dr. Richter, can you like take out a kidney or like do random transplants? I'm like, for you, yes, I can. Come into my office. I've got a scalpel. And then I say, just kidding. I don't want to lose my job. So yeah.
No kidney transplants in your office.
Yeah.
Didn't we plan on something like when you got your doctoral degree that I passed out or something in the classroom, or someone did, and then you had to bring back to life?
Yeah, it was the day after I had defended my dissertation. First of all these kids start coming into class with random ailments, like they have fake casts and like slings and like bandages all over them. They're like, I need a doctor. And then the bell rings for first hour, and Danny collapses on the floor, and he's got something under his shirt, and I'm like, what the heck is happening? And he's literally pushing out, like almost like he's delivering a baby. Yeah. But he's delivering a pair of scrubs and an ID that has like Dr. Richter, MD, like all these, and like I have scrubs. So he's like, put it on. And so I put it on, and yeah, it was an interesting day. That's for sure.
What's interesting is that It's interesting, but it's not really much different.
No, it's basically a normal day
than
in
any
the
of the
class.
other day.
Every day. I'm not taking that theme all the way to the costume, down to the costume. I love that. I'm
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
it.
read and mess around
Yeah,
for sure.
it was beautiful.
Actually, I think I just saw a video of yours where maybe you birthed a bat and hung it up on your.
No, it was a spider.
You birthed the spider?
I didn't birth the spider.
Wait, hold on.
I
Where
can't
did you
take-
find? Where did you find this video?
I don't know. It was on my feed.
It was on your feed. Did you what? Huh?
It's fine. This is Clarence the spider in our
but
classroom.
but the video was you birthing
Oh,
it.
wait.
Yeah, it was on our choir guys. It wasn't us. It wasn't me birthing it. It was just coming. It came out of the closet.
Okay.
Same.
I mean,
Yep.
Clarence. You know, Clarence is in the closet all year until October, and then he comes out.
pops right out of the closet. He's like, "I'm your spider."
Absolutely.
Running school social media on your own is exhausting. But with Class Intercom, you don't have to. We've been using it for the past 3 years and it's completely changed our process. All of our social media accounts are connected in one place and students can contribute content that gets routed to teachers for approval. It's streamlined, empowering, and honestly, fun. We've seen more student engagement, better content, and way less stress. If you're ready to go from overwhelmed to organized, check out classintercom.com. Sight Reading Factory isn't just a tool, it's your new assistant choir director. This powerful platform generates an endless supply of customized sight reading exercises that match your choir's level and focus areas. Whether you're prepping for contests or building daily literacy skills, SRF helps students develop real fluency with auto-graded, standards-aligned assignments that you can send straight to their devices. It can even integrate with your gradebook, so tracking progress is seamless. Add in features like solfege toggling, individual part practice, and full octavo support, and it's easy to see why SRF is the gold standard in choral sight reading. Try it now for as low as $3 per student at sightreadingfactory.com. And thanks again to SRF for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. Choir directors, we've been where you are. You need a fundraiser that actually makes money that your students will enjoy. And most importantly, a company that you can trust. That's why we've worked with Kansas Maid frozen pastries for over 5 years now. They've helped us sell over $35,000 of pastries in just one fall season. We took home a profit of almost $18,000. The pastries are incredible, the service is outstanding, and the entire experience is smooth from start to finish. If you're ready for a fundraiser that actually delivers in every way, head to kansasmaid.com. You won't regret it.
So, Dustin, we actually have something huge in common. We both adopted our children. Can you talk a little bit about the experience that, if as you feel comfortable, of your adoption experience with your 8th grade son? I know you adopted him whenever he was a baby, right?
Yeah. I think, as I mentioned, my husband's a pediatrician, and I don't know, 14 years ago, he was rounding at a hospital one August, and I was sitting at home. It was a Saturday, and he calls me and says, "Come up to the hospital." I'm like, "Why am I coming up to the hospital?" And he's like, "There's a mom who's had a baby, and I think she wants to give him to us." And I'm like a real live human child, alive, that's been born.
But had
He's
you
like,
guys been
"Yes."
like talking about adopting, or was this just like random? Like,
Backstory is,
hey, you
we
want a
did
kid?
We did like a home study. But
Yeah,
we
okay.
had like no solid plans to adopt. And so, but this little baby popped out on that day. He was checking out all the babies at the hospital. And so he sees this mom and she says, I'm not planning on keeping him. And he says, well, my partner and I might be adopting soon. And if you're interested, I can take myself off of this case, and if you'd like to talk to us. And she said, yes, I'd love to talk to you. So he calls me and says, come up to the hospital. And I said, what do I wear? And then I got an outfit on to go meet a new baby that you would wear to meet a new baby, which is a regular outfit too. And, I went up to the hospital and walked in that room, and we talked to her for about 15 minutes. And 5 days later, we had a baby at home.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing story, and life-changing story for sure.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I know it's been 14 years, but Congratulations. I love adoption stories.
I certainly not everybody has to be a parent, but it changed me as a teacher for sure. I mean, I suddenly saw my kids as somebody else's kids, and I mean, I always saw them as someone else's kids, no, but it just like reinforced this like human connection that we have as, you know, as people, as students and teachers and parents who come to the Booster Club meetings and all that sort of stuff. And I just felt like the job was sweeter than it had ever been before.
Yeah.
But it also made me protect my time a little bit more before, because I had a cute little bundle to get home to.
So, Dr. Cates, if you will, you have a PhD, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
In what is a PhD in?
Choral music ed.
Choral music ed.
I went to the University of Missouri, Kansas City, Go Roos, for my undergrad and my PhD. And that program is super flexible in terms of the PhD. And so I took the choral conducting track and the choral music research track at the same time. So I got to dabble in both. So I had the best of both worlds.
And what was your dissertation in?
It explored at that time singers who identified as trans or non-binary. We knew that was happening in choral situations and in all situations quite a bit, but there was not a lot of clear research that was identifying that this was happening, at what rate, and those kinds of things. And so my dissertation explored what choir directors were doing in their classrooms as it relates to being inclusive to people who identified as trans and non-binary.
Interesting. So what did you find that those choir directors were doing that were effective?
Well, first of all, I just said, have you had a trans singer in your choir? And this was in 2019. And about 80% of them, I asked people from all over the country, about 80% of them said that they had. And even the ones that said that they hadn't said, yeah, I'm starting to change my teaching to just be more inclusive to all the singers who are represented in the classroom. And one of the cool things that I loved about that little data point was it didn't matter where in the country they were. So, if you have these assumptions about the way people lean philosophically, religiously, politically, because of where you're located regionally in the country, and that didn't matter for these choir directors. They were all largely all of them were beginning to sort of rethink the way they were doing stuff so that they could just be more open to more people. So it sort of reinforced what I already knew, which is choir directors are amazing human beings.
Yeah.
They're trying to welcome as many students as they can in their classroom. But in terms of some of the things they were saying, I'm changing the names of my choirs. And we knew that was happening, but like at what rate, and like at drastic rates. I mean, that was in 2019, so I'm sure it's even more now. Some other stuff were, the name changes for the choirs were, I just said, like, what are you calling your choirs now? And there were everything from, like Latin and Italian names to, one of them said double wide.
Double
and
wide.
I was like, what does that mean? And not until probably like 4 years later and my son had music at his elementary school in one of those, trailers that they bring and set outside the school because the school's they've outgrown. And I was like, I wonder if the choir room is one of those trailers, and that's why they called the choir.
Oh, wow.
Double wide.
I can't confirm that because it's an anonymous survey.
That's a pretty good theory, though. I like that.
I would love to hear double wide. I want to hear how they sound.
So a lot of your research was on teachers, I guess, what they're doing to kind of acclimate to the changing education climate.
And what were the things that they found success in, like strategies that they were using to be inclusive of trans and non-binary singers, and then what things were most challenging? I asked that question too. Interestingly, one of the things they said was the most challenging was changing the language that you use. I think particularly for students who use they, them pronouns, because we create these habits in our language and they're very hard to break. But also interestingly, when I said, what's the thing that you found the most success in? Largely, they said changing my language. And so what was most challenging was also, I think, the thing that they found, and maybe as the low hanging fruit that they could begin to do pretty easily, because it didn't take much to begin to think about, using different language, but I think the language that we use is like ingrained in us. So we say, hey boys, please stand up. And we're talking to the tenors, but what happens when all of them aren't necessarily boys? And so we begin to kind of rethink that. And so they describe, situations that how that unfolded in their classrooms and those kinds of things.
So if you had to consolidate your dissertation and put it into like let's say 3 bite-sized points of things that people can take away from it.
No pressure.
What would you say would be the most helpful information from there for like a practical everyday teacher?
Yeah, I think interestingly, the key points that I learned from all of those choir directors from across the country really didn't have anything specifically to do with gender. It had things that specifically dealt with what we know is good teaching, which is like building a relationship with your students. And even if they're different from us, we have a ultimate responsibility to teach the kid that is sitting there. And so in order to do that, we have to learn more about them and make them feel welcome and make them feel like they belong. And when we do that, we're doing right by all the kids, right? And so then we apply this specific thing, which, by the way, is not new. It's been happening since the world began. And we then have to apply what we learn a little bit more about that so that we can serve those students. And I think we do that all the time with all kinds of things. And this one really isn't that much different than that. And so I guess that doesn't give people specific tips on teaching the trans and non-binary voice, but there are those for certain. I don't know that wasn't necessarily the aim of my dissertation, but I can point you to plenty of those resources. But I think it did reinforce to me what we already know, which is good teachers build relationships with their students. They learn about them, they care about them, and it doesn't matter if they're different from us. We know that we have a responsibility to teach them.
You have had an impact on a lot of people through your research, so I appreciate it.
I mean, I care about the topic. I'm interested in it, but I'm not trans myself. So it really gets, that's one of the reasons I specifically chose the topic that I chose and to investigate it like I did, because I didn't want to speak for trans people because I don't know what it's like to be trans. I mean, I think there are some basic things, changing your language, learning about the trans community. There are trans composers out there you can pick and represent those students in your repertoire, and be an ally, show that you support and care about them. I think are all key, easy things that you can begin to do almost immediately, and that you probably already do if you're a great teacher.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, sight singing can be intimidating. One teacher shared, "I failed sight singing in college, twice. But using S-Cubed, my middle school choir is thriving. They sight read together, stay engaged, and even correct me when I mess up, and we laugh through it together." That's what S-Cubed is all about, building a culture of confidence and progress no matter what your background is. Whether you're new to choir or just want a stronger method, S-Cubed helps both students and teachers succeed. Join thousands of directors who found their solution by purchasing S-Cubed today. Are you looking for music that moves the heart, inspires voices, and elevates your choir sound? Check out Endeavor Music Publishing, your premier destination for fresh, expressive choral compositions and world-class composers. One of those composers is Cedric Hoeseb, a composer all the way from Namibia. A self-taught musician whose love for hymns in the Lutheran Church choir ignited a journey that led him to composing for school choirs. Cedric has become a powerful voice in the choral world since. At Endeavor Music Publishing, they champion voices like Cedric's by publishing works that are rooted in tradition, enriched by culture, and designed to uplift. Whether you're leading a choir, directing worship, or planning your next performance, their catalog delivers authenticity, excellence, and artistry. Experience the distinct sound of Endeavor. Discover Cedric Hoeseb's works today at EndeavorMusicPublishing.com. Are you a Choir Guys listener thinking about an international tour? Encore Tours is your partner from the first call to final ovation. They help choirs of every kind, like students, church groups, and community ensembles, plan custom trips that include amazing venues, guaranteed audiences, and all the logistics support you need. Find out what's possible and get started today at EncoreTours.com/choir-guys.
So, Dustin, as someone who used to live in Missouri for years, you grew up here, went to college here, your roots are here. So what would you say to teachers that are hesitant to go the extra mile to make these students feel more included and feel more welcome and feel safe in the classroom?
First of all, I claim my roots in Missouri and specifically in Kansas City proudly. And I think, I live in Philadelphia now, which is a different community, certainly than Kansas City. And I would say the specific issue of LGBTQ plus students or humans and how that impacts my daily life, those issues are probably more common in my community maybe than it might be in, I don't know, Southern Missouri or something like that, but maybe not. But I think I learned a lot from hearing different perspectives. I didn't I grew up with Republicans and Democrats as friends and family, and I love those people. And I think so. I bring that with me to my sort of like worldview that we can learn from each other, even though we might be different. But ingrained in your question was hesitant to make students feel safe and welcome in the classroom. So if you feel hesitant to make a specific student feel safe and welcome in the classroom because of who they are, what you've done is assigned more or less value to a human being based on their identity. And that takes us down a really problematic road, I think, because we're talking plainly about humanity, right? And so I wake up in the morning and I say to my son, Emmaus, brush your teeth. And when he was in second grade, I would go, Emmaus, did you brush your teeth? And the toothbrush was dry. Danny, did you ever have that issue with your kids?
Of course.
Yeah. So, right. So like we have a lot more in common than I assume we probably have a lot more in common anyway, but like, so we're not that much different. We want to like live, we want to love our people, and we want to, I think in the case of the three of us here, we want to do good in the world and make a difference with what we've chosen to do with our lives. And so I think that humanness should draw us together. But when we begin to assign value to somebody based on their identity, we are dehumanizing them. And how do we go back from dehumanizing each other? And so I just encourage. First of all, I refuse to think that this is a political or religious issue. I think a thing that we could be much better focused on is you can believe what you can believe in. I can believe what I can believe, and we should be fighting for each other to believe what we can believe. Yeah. They don't have to be against each other. Yeah. And so anyway, that's the long philosophical answer to your question. But I think that it doesn't matter whether we believe like the student who's sitting in our room. We still have a responsibility to take care of them while they're with us and teach them and help them grow. We are smart. We can undo some of the things that we've put in our way as roadblocks right now. And we're also lying to ourselves if we say it's been the same. It's been like this forever. No, it's not. We used to chop off the family jewels because we wouldn't let women sing, right? So let's not act like it's been soprano, alto, tenor, bass, and they've always worn a black dress, pearls and black character shoes since the beginning of time. They haven't, right? We made up all that stuff. We can make up stuff that's more welcoming and more inclusive to more human beings. And that's what we're doing. And I think sometimes people stand in our way, but I think largely the force of choral directors across this country is nothing's standing in their way. They're doing that stuff right now. But I think it does get sticky when I live in a specific sort of community and the laws are beginning to change because this issue is getting more politicized. And I think we just have to decide whether we're taking a stand and we're pounding our hand on the table, or we're taking it slowly and changing hearts and minds. And I think it takes both. My husband and I am the take it slowly, change hearts and minds most of the time. And he is always the pound on the table. So we sort of balance each other out. You got to have that sort of balance.
My biggest thing is like, these are kids, and like we teach in a public school and we the beauty of public school is we teach everyone that comes through our building is these are kids. These are fragile human beings, and our job is to make them feel safe and welcome.
You aren't going to be doing the wrong thing if you're aiming towards supporting your kids, your students, and making that relationship that you build with them top priority, and teaching them to be a great singer, because that's also your job too, right? Through that relationship, you make music and it's meaningful. But I think we aren't going to always get it right, and we aren't here to get it right, or we're not here to be right, we're here to get it right. And so we go back and try again. That happens a lot with, I think, the issue of trans and non-binary singers. Like we say, we misgender someone or we mess it up, and we feel like that we, oh my God, I can't do this. It's this burden on me to have to change my language. And I think we all give each other a little grace, assume no malicious intent, and that we're trying to do our best. And I think that happens on all sides. And so I think sometimes we push one side against the other, but I think we have the opportunity to just chill and try to be calm and do better. So yeah.
All right, so switching up pace a little bit, quite a bit actually. So, but in a roundabout way, we know that you are an amazing choir director for sure. So when you are let's actually give you a scenario. You have an hour to work with a choir of which voicing? Pick your voicing. Just go ahead, pick a voicing.
TTBB.
TTBB. You have an hour to make this choir as good as they can possibly be. You don't the only thing you know about them is they can mostly keep have decent pitch. Your job is to make them as good as they can be. You have an hour. What are you going to do over the course of that hour? Go.
Okay.
Extreme circumstances. If you don't make it happen, bad things will happen to the world. Let's hear it. What are you doing?
We're going to yawn and sigh a ton so that we have a relaxed larynx. And we're going to talk like this and sing like this so that we have more space. And we know that there's a difference in magnitude and energy between how we speak and in regular conversation and how we sing. And so I think that is a thing that especially novice singers have trouble with.
I'm sorry, can I have some more clarity on the accent that you're using? What kind of accent is this? It's hard to come across over the speaker.
It's just big. It's bigger. I don't know.
Can you do it again?
Could be East Coast. I sing! That was a little bit of
people didn't talk like that growing up, but maybe they did. I don't know, but I like it a lot. Keep going.
Hold on, my hour is. We're going to. We probably need to do a little bit of singing in different parts and make sure we can build part independence. What else are we going to be doing? Are we rehearsing repertoire or are we just warming up?
One single song.
Yeah. We're going to spend at least a little bit of time talking about something meaningful that can have this emotional connection to the music in some sort of way. Maybe even before we make any sounds, we might talk about some sort of thing that helps us get to know each other a little bit better, or why we're here, why we're doing this, what we hope. What are our intentions? I try to say that in honor choirs a lot. Okay, let's fast forward, visualize what we're going to be doing we're on the stage. We're getting ready to do this. What do you want it to be like? Mm-hmm. And then let's reverse engineer all this stuff. And I always try to force them into this idea that we're going to make, bottom line, no matter what happens, it's going to be music that makes a difference. It's substantial. We're going to be fundamentally different by the time we finish. They're going to be fundamentally different by the time we finish. And if that's the goal, then we have to forget that the phone is there or checking my watch or all those sorts of things and make that a priority. And so some of those other things begin to fall away. Now that doesn't work all the time, especially when you're working with middle school kids. Sometimes they don't pay attention to what their intentions were, or they forget what their intentions were.
Yeah.
But I think that's a super important conversation that we sometimes sell short because we get right to chasing the notes and the rhythms. And I think that that buy-in and the meaning that they have connected to it, that's something that you got to build. And if I only have an hour, I got to do something maybe even a little bit more drastic. I also want to do something that's super fun. This isn't something, well, I guess maybe over the course of several days, but this year I had my choir. I broke them up into teams on the first day, and they all picked a slip. And the slip had a little clip of music on it. They were all assigned different pieces, 2-minute pieces of music, so they could do a choreographed cut to a song and have an Instagram video ready that they can all post on their Instagram. And they didn't know each other. Of course, Pink Pony Club was one of the songs.
Absolutely.
For sure. Absolutely.
Nice.
But I think those kinds of activities that are, some people could see those as threatening, but that just sort of builds the cohesiveness of the group. I think they're equally as important to that music making. And sometimes we go like, oh, these team building, blah, 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 they're not important. No, they are too, because when it gets tough and then you're kind of like, no, go back, do it again. They're not going to want to do it if they don't care about each other and care about you and that you haven't built the team. I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know because you're amazing.
Yeah, but this is the most amazing answer. So right off the bat, you're going to work on some technical things with them. So you talked about the sigh, getting your larynx in kind of that lower relaxed position in the right place. Then you talked about doing your bibbidi bobbidi boo voice. I'm not sure what it was, but it was awesome.
Talk like this.
That's
I
not
sing
what
like
it was.
this.
I sing like this. Get some nice.
It might be, it's like a count.
Count Dracula,
yeah.
sure. Yeah. So it's like, but it's making a differentiation between speaking and more of a supported sound that is like speaking, but not quite the same thing. So they get in that singing mentality. Then you're working on harmonic perception with them a bit by making sure they're hearing certain things. And then you're getting into the meaning of everything, making sure they can find meaning because they're making a difference in the music. And that's the real purpose of it. And then you're allowing them to have an experience with each other so they can really envelop themselves into the message of the song, basically.
Depending on what time of day that happens, it may or not be as frantic as I just described it to you because my ADD medication may or may not.
It was great.
That's so real.
That's okay. Yeah.
Danny knows nothing about that.
Yeah. Mine went off a long time ago.
What I'm not going to tell them, here's a hot take. What I'm not going to tell them is to sing from the diaphragm because that's something we can't do.
Exactly. I remember the first time I heard that, I was a freshman in college. I was like, oh yeah, you can't do that. It's not.
In my vocal methods choral vocal pedagogy classes, I say, hey, everybody, move your diaphragm right now. Like, first of all, they don't even know where it is. They're like, no, I'm like, it's higher. But I think, anyway, I'm not going to tell them that. But that could be a whole other episode. We got to do a diaphragm episode. I'll come back. You should have a diaphragm panel.
Yeah,
Ooh,
a diaphragmal.
Oh, I was going for it, and you jumped on it too early.
I'm sorry. Well, Dustin, this has been awesome. We've been wanting to have you on for a while, and we appreciate you finally coming on. And if we've learned anything in this episode, I think it's that Dustin Cates is the most loving and caring individual in the world, and he will fight for anyone, stranger or friend or foe. Because
I don't have any foes.
Okay, never mind. I'm so sorry.
Not the people who tell their singers to sing from the diaphragm. They're foes.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you. And
speaking of thanks, I'm thankful for both of you. I think
thanks.
you all are both amazing humans, and your students are lucky to have you.
Well, we appreciate you. I feel like it's so crazy that I think the only time I've seen you in person was this past July. I've only seen you like through Zoom or like online or whatever. This past July was the first time I saw you in person. I was like, oh yeah, that's a full-bodied Dustin Cates. I didn't realize you were so tall.
Much fatter in person.
Is that what you meant by full-bodied?
No, that's not what I meant. I just meant like, oh, I've never seen your feet, which that's a whole lot. Never mind. We're not going to get into that. Well, that wraps up this week's episode of the Choir Guys podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube to the Choir Guys channel so you can know exactly when new episodes are coming out. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
We cannot be more thankful to our incredible sponsors. Please make sure to visit their websites and check them out in the description box below. If you're interested in partnering with the Choir Guys, please email us at thechoirguyspod@gmail.com.
You can follow the show on all social media at The Choir Guys Pod to catch bonus content throughout the week. Feel free to message us through these platforms if you want to hear us talk about something specific on the show.
Thanks again to Dustin Cates for joining us on the podcast today. Your love and passion for accepting everyone is evident in everything you do. Thank you for inspiring our listeners today.
You rock.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, thanks for watching. We will see you in a couple weeks. Bye. Dustin, you guys say bye now.
Bye.
That was great. That's perfect.
Pavane Publishing is delighted to be a supporter of the Choir Guys. The choral arts and singing are what they are all about. The goal of the company is to provide practical resource materials and creative performance selections for both church and school choirs of all ages. Please visit their website, pavanepublishing.com, to explore their various offerings today. If your choir needs a new fundraising partner, this is it. Kansas Maid is easy to work with, and our students love selling their pastries. They are absolutely delicious. Check them out today at kansasmaid.com. Sight Reading Factory now features auto assessment and gradebook integration. Save time, track progress, and help your singers grow, all in one place. Check out sightreadingfactory.com today. With Class Intercom, your students become the content creators, and you stay in control. It's social media that teaches real skills, and it saves you time. Learn more today at classintercom.com.